I have some fond memories of water balloon fights.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like squirt gun battles and stuff.
Oh,
so
dang.
we had like, it wasn't a fancy neighborhood, but it was like a typical, I would say, middle class neighborhood, right?
Okay.
It would be either like my next door neighbor or my house, and it was cool because our porches kind of had walls, and so you could use that to kind of duck behind, right? And so everyone had like the super soakers, and so they would be loading up at like, those would be the bases, right? So it'd be like us on our side of the street, and then around the block would be our other friend. So that would be like the rival, opposing team. And so basically like the whole block, street or whatever would be our battlefield.
Yeah.
Everyone had like slightly different versions of the super soakers, and they're like the bright green and yellow colors, right?
Yes.
And then we would have support, so we would have people like kind of like hang back a little bit, throwing the water balloons if they got close to the base. And there was always certain individuals, right, that were just masters at wrapping and filling water balloons, so they could just like and like knock them out, in a couple seconds.
Yeah.
There's an art to being able to tie it up really quick, but you also have to fill it up but not overfill it, where it's going to explode in your hand when you're trying to throw it, but not be underfilled where it just bounces off.
Yeah. We I don't know if you guys picked this up, and I don't know how effective it is, because somebody maybe in one of our listeners can verify this or whatever. Fact check this. But one of the cousins would bite. They were like, you have to bite to let some of the air out. So you would bite just like the tiniest little nick in the balloon, so that you would get a little tiny spurt of water. Boop. And then you would just kind of put your thumb over that, and then you would chuck it. And more often than not, I found that it did work in terms of like exploding finally. But that's only when, and I never revealed that to people that I was actually in water balloon fights with, because I was like, if you don't know, then it's just going to bounce off oftentimes. Right.
The only other thing that I remember from that is, I remember at my house specifically, because everyone just had the regular hose and you can just put your thumb over it and kind of spray people. But my dad installed, he had, but like he didn't leave it out there because someone might steal it. But for cases like that, we would bust out the heavy duty sprayer that you could like basically power wash the driveway with. And so
that nozzle,
it almost had some recoil, right? When you kind of squeeze
it. Was a gun. It was like a water, like you could put on
like you can shoot clear across the street into like the neighbor's backyard. It was like so powerful. And so they would hit the corner like and it would basically be like a fucking bazooka to the face.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
That.
I can't imagine how much water we wasted back then. That's crazy.
Oh, dude. But what was lost in water was made up for in childhood delight and memories, dude. Yeah. Just like how much fun.
You got the intro, right?
Oh, shoot. Yeah, that's right.
Go and pull that up, because I think it's time to mob it.
Oh, shit. Welcome to Aflixionados podcast, episode 66. We're available wherever you get your podcasts, and new episodes drop on the first Saturday of each month, 5 a.m. Pacific. All of our social accounts are bundled together in our link tree. If you enjoy the content, please consider giving us a like and subscribe. My name is Michael Espinoza, a lover of philosophy with a passion for music and books. And with me is my co-host, a graphic designer, video editor, showrunner, and former high school band tuba player, a fantastic listener, and a great friend, the one, the only, the inimitable Eric Holmes.
Boom, 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 boom. How you doing?
Boom, 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 boom. Here on Aflixionados podcast, we mainly talk about films that range from mind-numbing to mind-blowing. TV shows and other forms of media are also covered. We will be getting into spoilers here, and there will be only the healthiest amount of expletives tossed in. You have been warned. If you ain't ready, then get ready, because in this episode, we will be discussing the satirical neo-Western black comedy thriller, Eddington. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know what that was.
Released in 2025, directed by Ari Aster.
Yeah.
Man, this movie felt like it came out further away than 2020. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. This movie just, you're right. It's somehow outside of time. Definitely feels a little bit older. But of course, the whole theme being around, what it's around. It's weird how far away now we are from from the pandemic.
6 years removed now.
Yeah,
well, I guess it lasted for a couple years, so maybe less.
Yeah, there were aftershocks of sorts, just dealing with all of that, and now it's like, the world was going to end, and then now it's just, you gotta. I don't even think we have to get inoculated anymore.
I mean, they still offer the tests, the little like at-home tests, and I do that just out of safety for my colleagues. I want to make sure that I'm not exposing them to anything, so it's just something that I do as a courtesy to everyone. And I actually did get COVID last year. I think it was like middle of last year, and so I got it for the second time, which is it's kind of ironic because I was one of the last ones to get it. I felt like everyone else was getting it, and somehow I was able to escape it, even though we were kind of in the thick of it. I think I got it for the first time in 2024, and then again in 2025. So it was basically just like a maybe intense version of the flu. I never lost sense of smell or taste. Haven't had like weird trouble breathing or anything like that. That initial wave was pretty wild though.
Yeah. It's better that if you're gonna catch it on the back nine, so to speak, after you've already kind of
one of the weaker variations.
Stuff. Yeah, I remember getting it before we had realized that it had like touched down in LA. At the time I was living in Pasadena, and I remember it was around December, and I'd gone out on a date with this girl in downtown, and as I was walking back to my car, I was feeling awful. It was with each step, it felt like I was getting worse and worse.
Jeez.
And so I get back to my apartment, and I remember I just crashed that night. When I woke up the next morning, I remember just the feeling overall of like, this is December of 20, or was it
between
December?
2019, right?
Yeah, it was actually 2019 bridging over into 2020. So yeah, I guess maybe it was January, maybe not December, but January. Because I remember going out for New Year's Eve in December, and things were still cool. Yeah, it was early January. It was early January where I got wrecked, and we didn't have lockdown, or our quarantine wasn't enforced until March 20th.
Right.
So yeah, I got freaking just laid out. I thought that was the first time I thought I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna actually die from being sick. It was so bad.
Lasted forever, right?
It just seemed to, it seemed to that and just like the incredibly like painful headaches, the throb, like I just never felt that way before. Just anyway, it was rough. Worse than any flu that I had before. So yeah, and then when I got it again, I think it was like 2 or 3 years later, I got it again, and it wasn't as bad. I did lose my sense of taste that time. I hadn't the first time, but I did this time.
With the pandemic being a central plot point of this movie, it's interesting to think that it didn't start out that way. So Ari Aster had been working on the story for some time, and at one point he wanted it to be his directorial debut. That's how long he was working on it.
What the fuck?
And I guess he couldn't get anyone to sign off on it. They all turned it down and thought it was a stupid idea. So he came up with Hereditary 2018, right? And so that ended up being his debut. And then later, check this out. Look what I got, Brenda.
My trophy box.
The Dexter blood slide.
What?
And it's made out of like basically Legos, but it's like bootleg Legos.
That is dope.
Can you pull out the slides too?
Yeah, let me like get.
Shit!
What?
That's sick. This is the first time that I've seen the completed product.
Oh, there we go.
It comes in just a bag, right? Loose Legos. Dang, nice job.
That's dope, dude. Dexter themed. That's so dope.
Yeah, and then these are all like little slides that you could take out.
Oh, now I see what you mean. Yeah. He always all his little mementos.
Yep. They don't even ship directions with it. Brenda was like, she had to look online at like tutorials to figure out how to
Dope.
put
That's
it
actually
together.
even more fun. It's like modern day. Like you have to be super resourceful.
Yeah.
Tap into ChatGPT. Like they can phone it in and be like, "Oh, the reason why we do this is so that you can adult even more. You can. This is a scavenger hunt for the directions on how to make this
Oh
fucking
my
thing."
god. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so Ari Aster's directorial debut. So since no one wanted to sign off on his original Eddington idea, he ended up creating Hereditary later while promoting this is Beau's Afraid at the time. So this is like his third movie. He actually went back and updated the script for Eddington to incorporate COVID-19 into the plot. So
Wow.
it kind of makes me wonder, like, what was the story about before that? If maybe it was just more political.
Yeah, I wonder if there was just no extra. What the fuck would it have been about? You know? Yeah, I'm really curious. What would it have been about that could add pressure? Because that's, I think, the thing that also, like, there's this real societal. We're going to get into it, of course,
Right.
but there's some serious, obvious societal pressure. This whole tug of war, and people feeling justified for their behavior for not wearing masks, or some for wearing masks, ideologies behind both, and what it means to actually live well. And it seems so, on the face of it, simple.
I think it certainly exasperates things, right? And I think it adds more tension just all around. And that's what I think is so impressive about the script, is that the pandemic doesn't seem like an afterthought. It doesn't seem like it was shoehorned in. It seemed like it was the intention the entire time.
Right, exactly. But to have come out with a movie so fleshed out the way that it did, that's why I'm not surprised when you say that it was something he had wanted to make as his directorial debut, because it feels so complete, because it feels so full. It doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel like this is something he's just kind of like slapping over. Oh, we're gonna throw COVID in there, and that's gonna make people pissed, or that's gonna really be a nice commentary, dude. It's like with any good comedian, where they kind of turn the mirror on society, and like they let you see yourself, for whatever, good, bad, whatever, all of it in between. And it's not even so much a way to like take a dig at people as it is just like reflecting yourselves back to you. And I think that's what's funny. Like comedians can say these things about how they feel, and it's reflective of the emotions of other people that just hadn't said that. It's like a comedian says the things we don't want, we think but haven't said, you know what I mean, somehow. And it's like, by Ari Aster taking the mirror and showing us ourselves, like it's almost comical. He gets it down. He gets both types and all the other types involved.
It's a commentary.
It really is a commentary. It really is like, here's this mirror. If anybody really wants to get a little bit like of a glimpse of what it was like with the tensions during that time, literally just sit here and watch this movie. Watch this movie and be prepared to, just go through some shit, and you'll be caught up.
Oh yeah.
Future generations. You can show my children and my children's children this movie, and they'll be like, oh, so that's what the pandemic was like. Got it. Okay.
Very much a vertical slice of being in the pandemic, for sure.
Absolutely.
Obviously it's not going to be a universal experience, but a lot of elements we all experienced.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Were you initially drawn to this movie when you heard about it, or were you like, let's see what it's about? Because I mean, Ari Aster, like, I know how you feel about him.
Immediately, dude. I saw the movie poster. I think I still want to just get that movie poster, even though the movie itself it's so symbolic. Those buffalo running off of this cliff. The movie poster looked sick. Like it just, that was what grabbed me. That was initially, I saw Eddington. I saw his name. Yeah, there it is. It's just disturbing. It's really
the black and white with the red letters.
Yes. And that's it.
And what's cool about this is like this slogan right here. I love how they did that.
Oh my gosh. I haven't seen this. Dude, thanks so much for bringing that up. I have not. I mean, bringing up the poster, first of all, but also bringing up that hindsight is 2020. Dude.
As in the year 2020.
Exactly.
I love that double entendre.
Oh my gosh, dude. Wow. Yeah. What a sick movie poster, dude. That's so... As much as I appreciate his work, I don't know if I'd say love. I so deeply appreciate it to the point where some of it is my favorite. At the same time, it's so deeply troubling, so deeply disturbed, and it's so well thought out that it's just leveled. He's like there is no Kubrick. Kubrick is Kubrick, but I would say he thinks of things at the chess level that Kubrick was known to think of things as. You know what I mean? So there's layer upon layer. It's not just the movie poster is only just a nod to how much he thinks these things through. In the movie itself, in the narrative. Yeah. So what about you? When you saw it, were you automatically jumping in, or were you kind of like,
When it was announced, because I think I saw it listed as like one of the movies coming out in 2025, and the name tells you fucking nothing. You know, when you don't know anything about the movie, I'm like, what the fuck is an Eddington? Right?
Yeah.
So
right.
that part didn't tell me, but I saw that Ari Aster was working on it, and I actually enjoy everything he's done so far. I mean, I think Hereditary, I got more out of it the second time around. Initially, I was a little confused, and I missed a lot of stuff. When we actually covered it, I got so much more out of it during that discussion. So I'm definitely grateful for that. And so I have a deeper appreciation for Hereditary now. Midsummer, I loved right out the gate. I think that was initially the one that really caught my eye and really put Ari on the map for me. And I think a lot of other people too. I think a lot of people gravitated towards Midsummer.
It's very divisive. His work is so extremely divisive.
It's polarizing.
Very polarizing, because you either love it or you hate it. And so many people that I talked to were like, fuck that movie. I didn't know what I got into. It's so weird. It's like you show up at the scene of a car accident, and like people are like, I didn't sign up for this. You know what I mean? Like Midsummer.
At the very least, what you can expect is that they're all going to be weird and they're all going to be dark as fuck.
Yeah. It is still, and some people, it's so funny because it's all, we all have our own opinions. You know, just like we all have buttholes, right? Everyone's entitled to it.
Look at that ass girl. Turn around.
Smells like poopy.
What's his name again? Like
Mark Rebellier.
Okay.
Turn around. Just like the whole sweet lead up, you know, with that.
Oh, that build up. Yeah.
And I've seen so many scary movies, dude. Like growing up, that was our shit. In 5th grade, I was at 11. Pops was showing us scary shit. Halloween, and we just took a deep dive, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and we were watching scary, like
all the
cult classics, and and we went all over the place with scary, you know. And that movie, I know this isn't a Hereditary podcast, but needless to say, that one wounded me. Like I'm never the same after that one. And then I was like, okay, I got to go dip in and see Midsummer. And that one, like you said, for me, that one was one because of the themes was not quite as it was disturbing. There's no taking away from how disturbing it was. Right. The nature of the disturbing was different. And because of that, I was like, I almost immediately rewatched it. Like I think I watched it the next day again.
Oh, okay.
As an audience member, for one time to watch it, it's certainly not enough. You definitely need multiple times with Midsummer, at least twice, certainly more times. I think it's something that you have to return back to.
I would even say I enjoyed Beau is Afraid as well. I know that movie bombed, and actually Eddington bombed pretty bad too. And I think it could have also been because people maybe had a bad taste in their mouth from Beau is Afraid. It could be the subject matter. Maybe people are just not interested in a story about the pandemic or anything like that. What I really appreciate about it is that each of the movies, they touch on a different topic, and they both present fears in a very distinct way. You know, it's not like he's doing something supernatural in every movie.
No, exactly. That's exactly it. And that's why that's why Midsummer was so different for me, because it wasn't supernatural. You're just looking for meaning in all these different things. The first time, I mean, I've still only seen Beau is Afraid one time. I do need to watch it again. I want to watch it again. It's something to aspire to understand. I would never look at a Ari Aster film and think it was dumb. I would, and some might, because it's hard to understand, but I would look at that and go, this thing is beyond me right now. I need to take more time to try to understand what it is being said. right now. Like and Eddington just is no different. None of his movies have. I'll say all of his movies. I'll say it this way instead. All of his movies have always given pause at the very end of the movie. Like you're just kind of left thinking, what the fuck did I just see? Like, what did I not only just like, oh, what did I see? But like, what did I just watch? Like, what did I really just see?
Yeah.
What was he saying?
So just to lay the groundwork for Eddington, it takes place in late May 2020. Obviously, it's going through the whole COVID-19 pandemic at this time. Their mayor Ted Garcia, played by Pedro Pascal, of Eddington, New Mexico. He's implementing a lockdown, like a curfew, and enforcing mask mandates, which is being pushed down by the government. That's causing some tension. And our main character is introduced to be Sheriff Joe Cross, played by Joaquin Phoenix. And he's also one of the ones that does not like the mask. He thinks it's a violation of their freedom. So I know we were talking a little bit about it earlier, but I mean, do you remember how wild things were during the pandemic?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty fucked when you can't get TP.
Definitely not.
Simple things you would assume that you'll always have access to, like TP. Suddenly it's being rationed out. No more than like limit 3 per person.
It was so scary because everyone was making out to be like, if you come in contact with anybody, you're gonna get sick. Like if you guys are not wearing masks, you're gonna get sick for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not so much that you are preventing yourself from getting sick. It's more that you are potentially carrying the sickness, and that you would be preventing yourself from getting other people sick. So it's more like you're wearing the mask for other people so that they don't get sick, so that when you sneeze, you're not just sneezing and projectile in the air and it goes into other people's business.
Here's another crazy aspect of that time was they were mandating the masks. You couldn't find masks anywhere though.
Oh, right. The kind that would, right, exactly. You couldn't find those N95s. Is that what they were?
Yeah.
And there were different versions of them, but you wanted this very specific mask.
Yeah, because people would try to make their own. They would try to get those little like surgical masks, but those weren't good enough. And so everyone was saying you had to have an official N95. Those ones, they weren't handing out anywhere, only at medical facilities and only if you absolutely needed one. But I think they were kind of taken up by the staff for the most part.
Yeah, being that we both worked at a medical facility, we had access to them. Because there were times where we needed to go on site, and that was back when fucking damn, bro. That was back when it was still, although technically Optum, it was Beaver Medical. That is nuts to think that so much has changed since.
We were kind of at the front lines, even though we were IT. We were at the front lines because we still had to support the nurses.
Hazmat, ET style.
Just about. Like it was pretty much a hazmat suit. And like how you're saying, you couldn't find basic essentials, toilet paper. The food shelves were empty.
People were hoarding.
Yeah, everyone was hoarding. It very much felt like and was treated like this was a societal collapse.
Yeah, and we want to think we're better than that. We want to think somehow if shit hits the fan, we're going to be better. And yet, as Thomas Hobbes said, man is wolf to man. People will look out for themselves. And if it's me versus you, if I'm going to have to choose between me living and you living, I'm going to go with me. So I'm going to make sure I've got all this TP. Bro, we had people at our office stealing toilet paper from the utility closet. Toilet paper intended for the employees that were still on site,
I think even they were trying to say that anyone with facial hair, they needed to shave it so that way you could better protect yourself and protect others.
Right.
So that's when we were joking, like, oh, we're just going to shave where the mask is going to touch.
That's right. Like ridiculous beard.
But I mean, do you remember the whole essential, non-essential thing? That was fucking crazy. That's just weird to think about that was even a thing.
Yeah. At a time when some people were losing their jobs to be considered essential, to have to go to work, bro. For all, the upside of this situation being what it was at the time I had like an hour commute Dude, it was, and I was actually looking to quit that job in Redlands and move to, something closer to LA.
And I know exactly what you're talking about with the commute, because my commute was normally about 45 minutes, and the freeways were empty. The streets were empty. No, not even
dude.
pedestrians. Like, no pedestrians. It felt like Silent Hill. Like, it was like I'm not in The Walking Dead right now.
Wild shit, bro. Wild. There might be like 4 other cars within your line of sight, in rear view and in front of you. And that was fucking it, dude. Like, just driving on the road, there's like so few people on it. It was like, just, I remember as things started to get a little bit more normal. As things started to, as quarantine started to work or whatever, and people started to get a little bit more immune. I remember starting to get perturbed, being like, "Hey, why are there so many people there? Are these people essential?" I was just mad because I was like losing all that. It was
starting to return to normal, right?
It was starting to return to normal. Yeah. I was like, "Son of a bitch! I really liked this commute. This was great."
Yeah, it was jarring at first, but yeah, after a while, you start to get used to it.
Right. At first you were like, oh my gosh, ghost town. And then all of a sudden it's just like, yeah, I made my family disappear.
I made society disappear. You know what it felt like? Overall, it really felt like the earth stood still.
Yeah. The year the earth stood still. It definitely felt that way.
And it seemed like it was never going to return to normal ever again, honestly, for a while there.
It's wild that we're even having this talk about it now.
People were starting podcasts around that time. And, Nicole, who was on our 7 episode, I think they started around 2020.
Oh, okay.
And so I think I actually remember getting some inspiration from her show, Dark Chatter. Oh. And I was like, hey, that could be fun. Like, maybe we could do something instead of supernatural stories or urban legends or anything like that. Maybe we can do something about movies. I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about that.
Yeah. Oh, and I felt like the big push was at work, you and I would stay after. We'd just be like shooting the shit, and the next thing you know, we'd be talking about movies, and we'd merge from one to the next, or we would stay on one and we would just talk about that movie. Mm-hmm. I remember like your wife would call and be like, "You okay? Everything good?" And you're like, yeah, I'm just talking, because it wasn't every day we were doing this, but periodically we would suddenly just do that. And I remember, I think she said something to you about that. Why don't you guys just like record yourselves?
Yeah, you guys should do a podcast. Everyone else is doing a podcast, so I was just like, huh.
Yeah, when you told me that she threw that out there to you, I was like, dang, that's brilliant. That's cool.
I never even thought to do that. And so that's when we started actively looking into what does it take to even start a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And I had I think that was a big thing too, is I had already got the recording equipment for music.
You're set. Yeah. You have your awesome headphones. All your equipment you use now, you were using back then.
Exactly. That's crazy to think. I mean, it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't like the top of the line kind of stuff either. We're not on those Shure mics or nothing.
But you're still continuing to get value out of your equipment, so that's awesome.
Dude, so grateful. Again,
it's paid for itself.
I will ride this till the wheels fall off, dude. Exactly. Anyway, it's so funny that it's funny now to talk about how this all came about and how it really coincides with everything that's going on with Eddington. Mm-hmm. And for a long time, I thought, like, I don't know if I'm gonna ever want to talk about COVID in a podcast or something like that, because I thought like, who isn't saying some shit about COVID and whatnot? But this far removed, and the fact that it's this movie, dude, like, it's so,
it makes sense. Yeah, it really does. Plus, yeah, like I was in line with you where I wanted to do the podcast to kind of escape that reality. Like, I wanted to not think about COVID for a while. I do feel like at this point we are far enough removed where we should at least address it, right? Like, we're not going to sit here and pretend like it never happened.
Right, because so much did come from it. And because there is some value, I would say, in us giving it's relevant, right, to the movie. And so it's showing how it affected us. I don't know, maybe some people would be curious about that.
Yeah, maybe. And, it's something that everyone around the world experienced. So we're also going through the same struggle.
And having returned very much back to, I don't know if I'd say back to, but more normal, at least more normal. A lot of things changed as resulting from that, and have never gone back.
Right, because you're not too far removed where you start to forget, and it doesn't have as much of an impact.
Right, and you're not so fatigued on hearing about this shit on the 24-hour news cycle anymore. Like we're hearing about other crazy shit instead.
Yeah.
So like you're not just like weighed down by that. Now you can look at it and kind of like see it more objectively instead of being like, fuck this, I don't want to hear about more of this. I hear about this all day. You can even kind of laugh at it because it so depicts all those personalities, every gamut, every facet of society. It gets it all.
Oh yeah.
It gets it all, you know. There's homeless people in the town too. There's all sorts of fucking shit. Like it's wild.
Yeah, different theories. Speaking of theories, let's introduce a couple of the other characters. So Sheriff Joe, he lives with his emotionally unstable wife, Louise, played by Emma Stone, and her conspiracy theorist mother, Dawn, played by Deirdre O'Connell.
God, everybody, dude, it have it all. I forgot he's got it all.
Dude, that's a crazy situation because I guess is it that her mom lost her job or something, so she had to move in with them? Is that my understanding?
Yeah, I think it's something like that. I yeah, that sounds right. That does sound right. And it's funny too because you don't really see the mom like right away, as far as I can remember. I don't remember seeing her right away. You just hear that the mom is there and everything, and oh god, like their whole marriage is so fucking weird.
Yeah, I think the household is supposed to feel frantic because the mom just nonstop. Anytime he's home, basically she's mouthing off about some shit like, you need to check this out, check out this video, check out this article. Here, did you read the email I sent you? Here, I printed it out. Read this.
Yeah.
Joe is just kind of desensitized to it, but I think Louise kind of at least tries to humor her a little bit. I don't think there's ever a quiet moment in that household. Dawn doesn't stop talking. Louise doesn't really talk ever, right? So she has very minimal lines in it, and other than that, she's just kind of laying down or sleeping or whatever the fuck. So yeah, very strange household.
Very strange household. The incorporation of social media into all of it is crucial too, and also a Black Mirror reflection of us even now. But yeah, just everybody having a voice. Interesting.
Incessantly watching these online videos. I think even Joe was watching one like before we even see what his household is like. I think he's watching a video on like social media or YouTube or something talking about domestic partners not wanting to bear children. So that's kind of foreshadowing right there. It gets interrupted with the phone call, I think.
That's right. Yeah, he's wanting to have a kid. He's wanting to have a baby.
Right.
Yeah, this also, I mean, man, how could you fit? It's just so funny that he fits almost everything. I can't think of one thing he doesn't fit into this. So many people broke up during the pandemic as well.
Man, they were at each other's throats because they were so tired of being cooped up inside. I think legitimately people were getting cabin fever.
Yeah, I think people were getting cabin fever, but they were also having to be faced with who it was they really married, because I don't know, maybe they didn't really know each other, or maybe they had started to grow apart and hadn't realized it yet, and then they didn't see eye to eye with how things should be managed while all this was going on. So they're dealing with a lot of stress there to realize that this person either they're incapable of communicating their needs, or and so they don't feel heard or respected, or vice versa. It's on the other end, and the other person is not being heard.
I think kept Brenda and I from being at each other's throats is the shop. So when she was doing Wild Souls, she was so engulfed in that. I think our schedules were kind of misaligned because I was still doing the like 9 to 5, right? And then she found it easier and more productive to do everything in the middle of the night. She would still be sleeping by the time I got up, and so by the time I got home, that's when we would get to hang out, have dinner and all that stuff, but then she'd be off to take care of the shop.
Interesting too, because what's her name has her own little kind of quasi business. She makes those weird dolls.
What did you think about her business?
And she's like selling them. Oh my gosh, that's right. He's the one buying them, right? He's the only buyer for her.
I think
fucking
so.
Stupid, sick looking, scary ass dolls.
I think he was having some of his colleagues buy some shit.
He was having them buy it. And then I think he was paying them back or some shit like that.
So what'd you think of the art that she was crafting in like the online business she had? How'd you interpret that? Do you think there's like something dark within her that she was kind of projecting into her art?
Yeah. yeah. I think like with kids who I don't know. There's a reason why child psychologists like to have kids draw. They'll depict things from their imagination. It's more revealing than if you were to try to talk to them about these things,
because they don't know how to articulate how they're feeling.
It's hard, right? Exactly. It's hard to articulate. I feel like we sometimes lack the words to use, especially children. They don't yet have the vocabulary to express themselves that way. And even then, I think it's just sometimes simpler to do it with drawings. I think that this was her way, in as much as drawing is for kids, or drawing is helpful for children. I think making these dolls was not only a creative outlet, but was like showing something that was not right with her. There's a dissonance. God, all of them were so weird.
Yeah.
All of them were so just like not, it's not like not a friendly doll. You're not like, oh yeah, this is cool. We're going to put this on my bed.
A lot of them were pretty disturbing. It could be like a monster eating the girl or something.
Right.
Weird shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you trying to...
What do you think of the bleeding homeless guy? What the hell was that about? Who is this guy? You know, I don't think they really explained a whole lot about this homeless guy, but he's pretty prominent. You know, he pops up regularly throughout the movie.
He's a I didn't even realize he was this important actor. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Clifton Collins Jr. He's been in so many. Oh gosh, what was he in that you would remember him in? I think, yeah, the way his face, Westworld. Yeah, he was in Westworld. Knew it.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in Westworld. He was an interesting character there. I vaguely remember that. I'm not saying I don't remember. I vaguely remember that, but I do remember the importance of him. I don't know if we'll get into that just yet, but yeah, I remember he has a really important scene, and I was just like, holy shit.
They chose to open the movie with him. He's the first person you see as he's approaching Eddington from the desert. And so it's like, why did they choose that? And, you know, he's trying to get into, what was it? Mayor Ted's bar. Yeah. And I think Joe is addressing like the complaint that was called in. Instead of, you know, drawing the homeless guy away, he decides to basically just kind of talk shit to Ted through the window and was like, hey, how come you guys are having a little congregation here? Aren't we supposed to not do that? And how come you're not wearing your mask? And come on, man, I'm inside. Like I'm not exposing anyone to, you know, like anything. Can you just get this homeless guy to stop banging on the window? And he's just like, what? Like, people are allowed to be out here on the sidewalk. He's not doing anything. And so it's crazy because he was giving Ted a lot of shit. And then Joe ends up having to address that homeless guy because he ends up getting through, and he kind of gets embarrassed. You know, like he was, I don't think he expected this interaction to go down how it did.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Doesn't he kind of get thrown down by the homeless guy and like he gets like coughed in the face or whatever? And
oh gosh, that's right.
And he has to kind of just like, you know, walk away, and the kids are recording him on their cell phones.
Yeah, that's it. God, pathetic, dude. Yeah. It's just he's just like a fucking shit kicker, dude. He's so unlikable. Like, there are moments where you kind of feel sorry for him, but then there are times where you're just like, for Joaquin Phoenix, yeah, he gets fucking handled by the homeless guy.
What's interesting though is that you don't know much about the sheriff yet, and so all you understand is that he's the main character, so you inherently want to root for him, and yet you see this happen, you're just like, oh, you know, that wasn't a good look for him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's only one of many. So
oh my gosh,
it gets worse
progressively.
After that confrontation with Ted, who's running for re-election with the campaign to push the data center just outside Eddington, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And at some point, Joe decides, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to run against him.
Yeah, just kind of gets a wild hair up his ass. Just because he doesn't agree with him.
I think he has an axe to grind with Ted, right? And we don't quite understand yet, like, what all led to that. But he just does not like him at all. They had that confrontation outside of the police station. And I think Ted was trying to respectfully just kind of talk to him in private and just say, hey, you know, why are you causing a mess when there doesn't need to be one? And he's just like, you know what, Joe, right? Joe's like, you know, you did a great job with the town already. It's already a mess, so I'm going to clean it up. And so that's when he's like, oh, clean it up. Okay. Kind of like how you cleaned up the police station and like now you only have a couple people.
Damn.
They died or they left or something like that, or a combination.
Damn. Yeah, he goes for the jugular.
Ted was basically saying, I'm just trying to save you from yourself because this isn't going to end well for you. You know, I'm just trying to save you the embarrassment. But Joe is just like, bring it. Let's see what you got.
He's so oblivious. He's so fucking, so self-righteous, so oblivious that Ted just is a more likable guy. He's got his finger to the pulse.
He definitely has a better understanding of the way politics work.
Precisely. And yeah.
At this point in the movie, because it's still relatively early, did you find like any traits of Ted to be villainous or anything like that? Because, you know, he's obviously the foil for Joe.
Right. No, he doesn't even seem snarky or smarmy. I mean, he does, I will say he does come off a little pretentious. When
provoked, you know, like it seems like it comes out a little bit more.
Right. And you'd want him to kind of just be above board the whole time, but he's human, for fuck's sake. And so, yeah, there's some stuff that you're like, oh, you know.
And I remember thinking, too, around this point in the movie, I'm like, I mean, I don't really hate the guy. I don't really know what his problem is, you know?
Because everybody else seems to like him, and I like him. I like Ted.
Is that also the fact that it's Pedro Pascal and he's just a charming guy?
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, there's that. And then, but just how pathetic and whiny the sheriff is.
We're starting to understand that a little bit more. Like, it's like, you know, this guy is kind of annoying for being the main protagonist.
Annoying? Yeah, and like he acts as though everybody owes him something. He's always the victim, it seems. And so, yeah, it's one of the most difficult movies to actually, you see. I feel like I tend to like everybody but him. Like I'm always like pulling for other people. He's like truly the anti-hero. And just a unique take on an anti-hero.
Right. Did you catch the name of the data center?
What was it again?
Solid Gold Magikarp, all one word. So that's the company's name, and it initially caught my eye not because of the reference itself, but it's the indirect reference of the original Pokemon Magikarp. So that's just my nerd side coming out, but I'm like, hey, Magikarp, I know that. But I actually had to look up the term Solid Gold Magikarp. And apparently what that is directly referencing is people have been able to expose hidden weaknesses in AI by prompting gibberish into ChatGPT like Solid Gold Magikarp, which fucking doesn't mean anything. It's not a real word, right?
Right.
But for whatever reason, shit like that, sometimes that's just one example of many where you can confuse the hell out of it and it just responds back with random results because it doesn't know how to address it. So that's just exposing like one of the weaknesses in AI, and you know, one of the things that it kind of shows you that this isn't the end all be all.
Right, that it's not going to necessarily take over the world. That it's still just an invention that's being worked on and not perfect.
Yeah. It is ironic because it's an AI data center that they're trying to build here, and that happens to be like what exposes AI.
Again, no accident.
Happy accident. I'm just kidding.
Happy accident. Oh, Felix Culpa. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, another one of the things that was kind of awkward to watch was the grocery store scene where people have to wait in line to get inside, and that old man doesn't want to wear the mask and he refuses to put on the mask to go inside, and so they're physically restraining him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Joe has to intervene, and he's just like, let him inside, man, you know, he just treat us like human beings.
So lame. It's like, yeah,
some of us can't breathe with the mask on, you know, which I mean is a legitimate concern. Let's not pretend like there wasn't, but there are so many people that were just making a bullshit excuses to not have to wear the mask.
And that's why I was like, is he really? Is it really hard for him to breathe, or is he just saying that so he can lean on that one. It's our movie. Yeah, it's just I just didn't never really felt right. I don't know. For the sake of the many.
It was a touchy subject, yeah. It was, I mean, I hated wearing it too, because you're just breathing in carbon dioxide for like half the day, right? So you can't wait to remove the mask. But yeah, it's like, if that's what I have to do to get some groceries, like, it really isn't that big of a deal. But a lot of it was on principle. People just felt like their freedom and their rights were being taken away.
Right. The aftermath of that was potentially spreading whatever, again, it's all a potential too, because we're assuming that you're sick. So if you, again, the thought is don't spread sickness. If you wear a mask, it will limit the amount of germs that will be spread. If you speak, cough, sneeze, being carried into the air, you're going to limit that, dampen that down. Mm-hmm. It was frustrating, because you can also get from everyone else's perspective what it's like to be scared, to be in that situation. And it's not right that only one person gets to not have to wear a mask and everybody else has to wear a mask. Either you want to be fair across the board. And I think Ted even kind of says that while he's in there. Like, look, it's not a political thing. This is literally just, we're trying to keep people from getting sick. And he's like, and on the flip side, Joe's kind of like, well, you're just using fear. You're just causing fear in people. And
right.
So, and he's not wrong either. It's just, it's complex.
There were a lot of people that firmly believed that the virus didn't even exist. And then when people start getting sick, then those same people shifted their mindset as to, instead of saying that, oh, we don't need to wear a mask because there's nothing to prevent, now they're just saying that the virus isn't like, it's not as big of a deal as it's being reported, so you don't need, they're just trying to scare you with that. So like, that's what I thought was funny. It was like, oh, what happened to at first it wasn't real, but now you're just saying, oh, now it's just not as big of a deal.
Right. God. Yeah. But
dang, that window fan's working too well. A little chilly.
I know, right? Actually, I've noticed the past couple times the sound floor, again, thinking of sound floor, when I had the fan on, it was making too much noise for me too. So I was like, I'm gonna keep it to a minimum. I'm gonna have nothing on.
We are at the point now where Louise and Dawn, they actually invite the radical cult leader Vernon Jefferson Peake, played by Austin Butler.
God dang, dude, this was fucked, man. Austin Butler, can we just please? That guy's crazy good. That guy's a crazy good actor. Fuck, I didn't even like Elvis before, and then this motherfucker plays Elvis and just rips my fucking heart out. Just please stomp on it, get all sorts of dirt on it, get the COVID germs on
Gyrated straight to your heart.
Gyrated straight to my heart. My heart.
Did you hear about the fact that he had a hard time dropping that accent after making that movie?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Austin Butler. Enter Austin Butler.
This awkward with his fucking dinner scene.
Motorhome. Oh, dude.
This was weird too, because wasn't she mad at him for announcing that he was going to run for mayor? So without, discussing with her first. So Louise was kind of giving him the cold shoulder, and Joe basically like peer pressured her into having dinner with him. And so he goes and makes said dinner, but she doesn't show up for like another couple of hours or something. And when she shows up, her and Dawn show up with this fucking like cult leader guy and like hippie dude, right? And who the hell is this guy?
Right, exactly. And strikingly good looking. You know what I mean? Like it's bad enough this guy's already having marital problems and shit, and then to find out that she's been going to these meetings and shit, and he knows she's taken a real big interest in it, and she's a big fan of this guy. All of a sudden, can't stop talking about him, and then he shows up, and now here's basic ass him and his own marital problems with this good looking guy who has this crazy charisma.
Imagine being in that situation. Like, you fall asleep because you're waiting so long, so you're already kind of frustrated with that, but then you wake up and you're like, who the hell are all these strangers?
who the hell are all these strangers? And the fact that already she's been fangirling out with this guy, and then she shows up late, like later than she had said she was going to. You're hoping to mend things with her, so you're like, I'm making this dinner, I'm gonna go out of my way for her, and then
she's not even taking it serious.
And she's not taking it serious. She's so fucking checked out, and that's pretty heartbreaking, to be on that end of it. And then again, just add insult to injury, like, oh, okay.
So this Vernon Jefferson Peak guy.
What a mouthful.
Yeah. You have to say the full thing every time.
Vernon Jefferson Peak.
What was your impression of him? Like when you saw him, did he seem threatening to you, or did he seem dangerous in any way? Did he seem like he was just a fraud?
Yeah. He seemed like any other cult leader, Seemed like, it's funny too, because coming into this, Easton and I had looked at, we'd gone on this deep dive with cult leaders. We'd spent the night at a friend's place, and I don't know if it was them or us who were just like, that looks like a really interesting thing to watch. And so we just started watching stuff on them. And then we got into she started listening to this podcast. I'm trying to think, last something on the left, last podcast on the left, last house on the left, something like that. It's a really popular one. And
it seems like a playoff of Last House on the Left. That's a horror movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really good. These guys do a lot of research, go deep down. I mean, we listened to several. We listened to the Donner Party one, which was harrowing as well. But going in line with the whole cult leader thing is Jim Jones. It goes deep in. I mean, there's several episodes. I think there could be like 5 episodes, and they're hours and hours long. So they're super interesting. Anyway, he nailed the cult leader thing for sure. Yeah, nails the charisma and the sleight of hand. Misdirection. Just keep it superficial. Sound like you know what you're talking about.
There's a couple of awkward scenes here. Awkward moments, I guess you could say. So one, Vernon shares his backstory, because naturally, as a sheriff, member of law enforcement, you kind of want to dig a little bit deeper and get to know who the hell is at your house right now.
Right.
And he shares this story about, I guess, pedophilia and child trafficking or something. Like he was like kidnapped and like kept as a prisoner, and then I guess the way he got away, as he said, was they were basically being hunted, almost like The Deadliest Game.
Oh my god.
And
the most dangerous
the most dangerous game. And so all of his siblings and friends or whatever, like they got killed, but I guess somehow he managed to escape, and there he is now. So Joe wasn't really buying it.
No.
He definitely was expressing some disbelief for sure.
By the same token, as far-fetched as it does sound or whatever, he's basically positioned to look like a hater too, if you don't believe it. Like you're just, because the women are just like, oh my gosh, especially his wife, Joe's wife, is just Emma Stone, just like, oh my gosh, like they're just so, oh, you poor thing. And
did you notice Louise was like fucking getting so pissed with Joe, because he was, he wasn't really eating up the story like everyone else was. He was just like, kept questioning it.
Right. The hard part is, man, like check and mate, because like you look like a hater. You look like a hater, even if it's legitimately sketch. You kind of just look like a hater or heartless.
And here's another moment that kind of makes Joe look like a bitch is Vernon. He just walks into the house and he just starts looking at the art throughout the house, and Joe looks so uncomfortable. He's like standing like half in the doorway, like watching him, and is almost like trying to like usher him out of the room. Vernon's just kind of taking his time, like hands in his pockets, just like, oh wow, you got some. And here's the thing I caught too. Louise is still at the table outside, but she's like facing the doorway, and Joe's kind of in between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Vernon is addressing her. He's addressing Louise, basically talking through Joe, pretending like he's not even there. And he's just like, wow, your art is beautiful. Not a care in the world,
Right.
Picking up some of the dolls and touching it and shit like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, yeah, again, he has no control over the situation.
But he read him. That's the thing. I think as a person who's a cult leader, as Vernon Jefferson Peak is, that's the whole name. He reads people. He can tell who's a mark, and he also knows he can pretty much have whoever he wants, kind of thing. Because he's good looking. Because he has the story. He has the charisma. He sees tons of people. He has this compelling story that I'm sure he's rehearsed over and over and over again, and tailor made with each new performance, seeing how it lands. And he knows he because he reads body language and because he can read Louise's behavior really well. I mean, her behavior, her actions, the fact that she was willing to stand up her own husband to the dinner that he said he was making, that's enough. That's enough for Vernon Jefferson Peak to know that he's got her attention. And so he can see the weak behavior of Joe. On the other hand, I don't know what the exact better way to necessarily do that would be, other than maybe just kick him off his property. But he can tell that he's afraid of losing Louise, so much so that he's not going to just kick him out of the property.
He didn't seem threatened by him at all.
Exactly. You could say he's a sheriff all he wants, but the way that he talks, the way that he carries himself, the things that I'm sure Louise has shared with Vernon Jefferson Peaks, he's gonna just make him look a fool, and he does in his own home, which is just like, again, as much as you don't want to like Joe, as much as I didn't, I'll say personally, want to like Joe, there are times where you're just kind of like, you do feel a little bit like you feel some pity for the guy.
Yeah.
You're like, oh gosh, dude, geez, this is fucked.
There's so many things stacked against him. He's constantly being basically double teamed by Louise and Dawn because they're both, into different conspiracy theories.
Yes.
There is a little bit of a dynamic change here, though, at the table. So this is around the time where Louise alludes to her background. So she hints that possibly her father abused her as a child. And if you notice, Dawn gets really fucking defensive. She doesn't like Louise talking like this and bringing this subject up. Because, I mean, earlier in the film, they almost have like a ofrenda, right, of Louise's dad. And basically like a little section of the house where they kind of dedicate to his memory.
Like a shrine.
This is where, Dawn is talking shit to Joe as well. Like, she's always just jabbing him the entire time. And so she's like, who wouldn't have put up with this bullshit? Louise's father, that's who. And, he was a way better sheriff and a way better man than you'll ever be. And like, basically like, trying to emasculate him as much as you can.
Yeah.
You see Dawn's dynamic with the dad. And then you also now see Louise's dynamic with the dad. Very different.
Mm-hmm. That's yeah. The thought that it makes you wonder, is the reason why this never was broached before, why this seems to be catching Dawn by surprise, is because Louise knew that her mom was always going to not believe her.
It's possible
that she was always, defending the dad, always singing his praises, and refused to believe that he was capable of molesting her, harming her their daughter in some way.
It could be that maybe it's so disturbing that she just refuses to believe that's even possible.
And now we're getting into the doll. Now we're getting in, and now that's really interesting, actually, because it does seem a little convenient. Maybe on the flip side, looking at it from Dawn's perspective, having maybe never heard this before, about her late husband, maybe she's thinking, oh, Louise is trying to get in his good graces, in Vernon Jefferson Peak's good graces, because now they have a similar story. And so maybe they're just like on the level like that, and he's causing her to start to doubt even what was real, what her father really was like, just so that she can kind of be a part of his cult and be liked more by him. So you could look at it that way. You could look at the other way. But one thing is for certain, now that you touched on it, about how weird those dolls are. What if this is also her. What if those dolls are a way of her coping with something that she's internalized all these years and has just never really dealt with? And now that she's near Vernon Jefferson Peaks, he is a conduit sort of allowing, oh, you'll believe me. These people won't believe me because they met that guy. And my mom thought of him a certain way, and my husband, held him in high praise. I can't reveal these terrible things about my past with him to them, and so she's just having to choke it down and express it through these dolls.
Yeah, that's actually what I was believing. Was I think that some shit actually went down, and whether Vernon's story is actually happened or not, I think Louise does find some parallels with her own experience, and I think that's why she was gravitating so much towards him. And yeah, I don't think that she felt that there was a safe environment for her to share that at home. I don't think that Joe would understand, and she knew that Dawn wouldn't listen. She did have to internalize it, and her only way of expressing that is through the art, through the creepy dolls that she's making.
And even then, it's not really dealing with it, because look, she's still suffering. She's still producing more of these dolls, and nobody's really like, I mean, it's not necessarily up to them to figure these things out per se. Like, they're not psychologists, but like, the only person who seems to be taking an interest in it and seems capable of holding space for her pain and helping her to move through this pain is Vernon Jefferson Peaks. Again, because you like that, because he now, whether his story is true or not, at least it allows other people to kind of feel as though you've been vulnerable with me, now I can be vulnerable with you. Mm-hmm. And in that's where cult leaders get so much power, is from other people being so vulnerable and trust, and having such
them
faith,
using that against them, basically
like a trauma bond sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. So these dolls were already a problem. These dolls were already indicative of something that's just not right, like we were saying with children in the beginning.
I mean, just her behavior, there's already signs that something's off about her.
Highly depressed. Yeah. And notice how also there's nothing wrong with not wearing makeup. There's nothing wrong with choosing not to wear makeup. I don't see any problem with that. It's a personal choice, whatever. But notice how she didn't wear makeup at the beginning of the movie, and then later on, which we're going to get to, she does.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. I actually really like the scene. At first, I think I just kind of passed right over it first time I saw the movie, but the second time I was really studying the scene, and there's a lot going on here. And I was really divisive in how I felt about the Louise character, because initially for me, I thought she was kind of annoying, abrasive. She's really aloof. She keeps her walls up. Everyone's at like arm's distance. She's always just kind of complaining most of the time. She seems kind of gullible. Like she's eating up all the shit that Vernon Jefferson Peak posts on his website and talks about and all this and that. I don't think her character is meant to win over many fans with the audience, but there's also a backstory to it. Like, why is she like this? And I think that's what makes her character interesting, is trying to dig a little bit deeper, dig under that tough surface, that tough exterior, and really get to the true story of what happened. Like with how Dawn almost idolizes the dad and all that stuff. I think it's also kind of interesting to note that as much as it seems like she hates her dad, or at least hates what he did to her, she did get with someone that's also in law enforcement and ended up being a sheriff, which was the position her dad had. So I don't know if maybe there's some trauma there, like some daddy issues, where she like both hates it, but like is drawn to it.
I don't know that. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't.
He's also an older guy as well, almost like a father figure.
Precisely. Yeah, he's much older than her. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Austin. Vernon Jefferson Peak is more her age, whereas Joe is so much older. Yeah. It's almost like to your point, it's not that she's drawn to, I mean, she is drawn to it, but why is she drawn to it? I think she's drawn to it both because it's familiar. Even if it's toxic, we feel somehow like, oh, well, this is, at least it's familiar. It's not foreign to me. I don't know how to react in a situation like that. So,
and fall back into the same traps.
So she's trapped herself in a marriage with a man that reminds her of the father that she has this trauma with. And in a way, it's like she's doing it because she's familiar, and maybe she thought it was a way to heal that part of herself, but it's not amounted to that at all. And it's like she's resentful of ever having, like, she doesn't seem to want to be touched by him, like at the beginning when they're like, he wants to lay in bed with her. Right. She's so against it. And again, talking about it now in light of everything we've discussed makes me really think she hasn't processed that trauma.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, and there's multiple examples of him just being so unaware, right? And he even tries to have that difficult conversation with Louise in the middle of the night. He wakes her up in the middle of the night and is just like, hey, earlier, did you say you were molested by your dad? That's crazy. And just like fucking goes back to sleep.
So late. So right. The thing is, it's like, at that point, she's also resentful to him for not having done it sooner. It's almost like it died, like their love died, and he's still not catching up to it, and too little too late kind of thing. Like, the cult leader's already helping her.
The tendrils are already dug in.
They're already sunk deep, and she's already getting those emotional needs met. And so his half-assed effort in the middle of the night is almost just like, I wouldn't say a slap in the face, but it's just like, come on, seriously.
Seeing this predatory figure like Vernon Jefferson Peak, I mean, I can't help but think of Nexium, all that shit that went down. And they got my girl Allison Mack. Fuck.
Yeah.
That was crazy when all that went down. Man, I had such a huge crush on her back in the day.
Good God. But yeah, that is wild. It is wild. And you want to think that those kinds of things can happen, and yet if they cannot happen. And yet somehow they fucking do. Like, these people, she was helping him. She was, bringing young women to him.
What's his name? Rainieri or something like that. He's not like this dashing guy or anything like that. But sometimes you just got someone that is so charismatic and he talks a good game.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much, it's not so much the physical attraction, handsome appearance. It's a presence. It's a sort of, I think it's just this sort of feeling of nowness, and that's attractive. And to feel heard, that's attractive.
At this point, I wasn't in the camp of disliking Joe yet. That's going to come a little bit later. But I was feeling sorry for him. When he wakes up in the middle of the night to be like, hey, were you molested by your dad? This is where he starts fabricating a fake story. So when she doesn't answer, he's just like, or were you molested by Ted? So she's like so annoyed with these questions that she doesn't even answer. So it seems like a throwaway, but he holds on to that narrative that he fabricated. She never once mentioned Ted, but for whatever reason, Joe just can't let that go.
I actually thought that she had said something like that to him before.
I think the only thing they disclose is that they dated briefly back in the day.
That's it. You're right. That's it. Okay, so that's it. That's the connection there. Okay, so they did.
And so
date.
He's like fucking trying to like solve the equation in his mind, and he's making it worse.
Only because he's ever the consummate victim, and it just pisses me off how deep off the edge he goes with this victimhood and wanting not to feel like a fucking pansy.
Has like a Napoleon complex or something.
Oh, didn't, because he played Napoleon too.
That's true. Dang. Yeah. Pun not intended.
Boom, but it got there anyway. Yeah, I think I'm trying to be careful because I find that the things that I tend to be so like with his personality and all that kind of shit, I find myself being like, oh yeah, what a bitch, and like, you know what I mean, like what a lame ass, and yet, as I've said before, it's those things that we don't like in others, it's the things we don't like in ourselves that we hate in others, or that we don't see in ourselves that is just like that person. You know what I mean? So it's like finding a way to like accept that shadow, you know, Jungian, yeah, Carl Jung would say like shadow self, and they call it like shadow work, where you're sort of incorporating it and, you know, learning to accept it.
We're introduced to Ted's family. So it's just Ted and his son Eric, played by Matt Gomez Hadaka. He ends up kind of inadvertently involving himself in like a Black Lives Matter protest along with his friend. I think that's where we're introduced to Sarah, who's like a social justice influencer, played by Amelie Hoferl.
Cute girls. Watch out for those cute girls.
She was trying to persuade Deputy Michael Cook, played by Michael Ward, to join their cause. And I think it's even revealed that Cook and Sarah have some sort of past history, like they dated in the past.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it's revealed for sure. Yeah, they did date, and that's a sore spot for him.
Yeah, she's trying to shame him into joining. She's like, you of all people should be, you know, on our side and all that stuff. And, you know, he's standing on business, but I don't know if he even seems like he's conflicted. Like, it seems like he knows where he stands. And at least from his point of view, it seems like he's on the right side of things. And Cook happens to be like one of the two cops in this police station for Eddington, along with Joe, right? They're like really the only cops left in the town.
Right.
Later on, they have that other protest and it gets a little ugly there. They have to bust out like SWAT gear and all that shit. Joe does not like Ted's son at all. Eric, they both have like this tumultuous relationship, and Eric is always kind of just jabbing him verbally, and Joe wants to just beat his fucking ass.
Yeah, but it's just Eric is kind of smarmy. And he's smarter than Joe, even as a high school kid. He's smarter than Joe, always talking shit, always cannot get got. He's like smooth with words. He's riding his bike. He's talking shit to Joe through the fucking.
Oh yeah, he has like the little overhead speaker, and he's just like, "Who are you talking to? There's no one here."
Yeah, it's truly pathetic, man. It's truly pathetic. And the kid is just like no respect for this fucktard of a so-called sheriff that's supposed to be doing something important in the town, and yet undermining things because he's got his own issues.
Eric's kind of a piece of shit though, because there's two cases where he kind of fucks over his friend, right? So who I believe his name is Brian. Yeah, Brian, played by Cameron Mann. So Brian is more of like the shy guy, and he basically only joined that protest to get closer to Sarah. He has like a big crush on her, but I think even before that, they meet up at some sort of like bonfire party thing.
That's right, and everyone's supposed to be like 6 feet apart or whatever.
Right. Brian wants to talk to Sarah, but it comes off a little awkward, and Eric just kind of swoops in and just starts chatting her up. And he even does that bullshit thing, because I've been on the receiving end of this, actually. They lower you, they put you down to make themselves seem cooler.
To make themselves look. Yeah, that's fucked. That's no friend, dude. Fuck that. I've cut ties with people like that. But yeah, absolutely. You're right. He's a piece of shit.
And then later on, because at this point, Eric himself is not part of the protest yet, but I remember he like takes a photo and he looks and he's like, is that Brian? What the fuck is Brian doing here? He ends up joining later. And I think when, he goes face to face with Joe and they have that heated exchange, Sarah kind of pulls him aside and she's like, are you okay or whatever? And so they start getting a little bit closer. Later on, Eric takes a photo of them kissing and he sends it to both Brian and that Officer Cook.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's obvious that he's not in love with her per se. If he's taking a photo of them kissing and he's not just enjoying
the moment,
kissing her, the moment, exactly, then he's got ulterior motives. Then he's just being a fucking dickhead.
He's only pursuing her, I think, because it's almost like he's getting one over his buddy, but he's also rubbing it in Cook's face.
Yeah, both. Double damage.
I don't know if there's really any redeeming qualities in Eric.
Yeah, Yeah, he's just this rich kid.
Yep.
He's probably been given things like all his life, just anything he ever wanted. His dad just does. Ted is just like, yeah, absolutely.
Just provides it for him, yeah.
Right, and I think it's because when did the mom pass away? Or did she just leave? She's not dead.
Yeah.
Oh, she did, exactly. Yeah. She just left.
So maybe he's bitter about that, and maybe he's
acting out.
Joe leaves that protest to go record a video for his campaign, right?
Oh my gosh.
And so he goes to that little Mexican restaurant. Well, I guess it was a Mexican / Mediterranean restaurant, I want to say.
Crazy combo.
This is where, on video and in front of the public that was there, he claims that Ted, who he's campaigning against, sexually assaulted his wife, Louise, when they previously dated in the past.
Yeah.
With zero evidence of that, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then remember when he's talking to his other deputy and he's like, was that good? And he's like, you know what, fuck it, just post it. I don't want to overthink this.
Asshole.
This right here is when I was just like, what the fuck is he doing? Oh my. And so this is when I started to get really annoyed, and like he started to look a little bit different in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Suddenly it's harder. It's even harder to find a reason to like this guy. You're like, you're not making it easy for me, man. I don't think I want to.
Definitely not. You cannot face palm any harder at the scene. This is crazy. Joe is, I don't want to
overthink it.
He's so oblivious. It's wild.
Yeah.
And you would think, as a sheriff, he would know better. How did he even get this job?
Yeah. It doesn't bode well for doesn't speak very highly of the process.
And not only is he embarrassing himself, he's embarrassing Louise. So not long after that, she posts her own video of rebuttal, and she counters that claim and was like, they're untrue. There's no history of that ever happening. I've never claimed that Ted sexually assaulted me or anything like that. So that's false. And it's because he was trying to get to the bottom of the story. He was trying to dig a little bit deeper, and he totally veered off path.
Yeah, exactly. For his own, to feed his own ego, to give him reason to go after Ted, to make Ted look bad.
Right.
To fit a narrative where he looks like he's better somehow than Ted.
And then not only that, Louise then leaves town with Vernon. He goes home at the end of the day. She has her bag packed, and Vernon shows up with like a freaking shuttle bus and just drives away with her.
That's right. See you later.
So much happening at this point in the movie. I feel like this is only halfway in the movie.
Is it really halfway?
I think so, or maybe a little bit past half.
Damn.
Things are starting to unravel a bit, though. The next day, oh man, this might be my favorite scene in the movie, honestly. The next day, Joe confronts Ted under the pretext of a noise complaint at Ted's own residence.
You see my name. You see my...
What do 5 fingers say? So at Ted's own residence, he's having a little fundraiser. He's having a little shindig, a kickback, if you will. Oh, man, he should have not addressed this, but it was called in to Joe over the radio, and the deputy even says like, hey, should we just let this go? Because, it's Ted. We know how, things are kind of heated right now. Joe's just like, no, I'll go. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So he pulls up, and, his stupid police SUV that's decked out in like his campaign decorations.
Exactly.
And so he walks in, and the first thing he sees off to the side is he sees his wife's video that she posted opposing his claims. And so he just turns that off.
Exonerating him.
And then he walks around the corner, walks right past Ted, almost pretends like he doesn't even see him, goes straight for the speaker and turns that off, and then just starts walking away. Ted's confronting him too. He's just like, hey, how'd that sexual assault claim go for you? Didn't work out too well, did it? And so, he just ignores it, keeps walking. Music turns back on. So Ted's kind of, trying to instigate some sort of confrontation here.
Yeah.
Feeling disrespected and annoyed.
He just turns right back around quietly.
Right back over, turns it off. Ted defiantly turns it back on. So Joe just starts yelling at him, right? He just said, turn this off. And then Ted fucking slaps him.
Not once.
Twice. Humiliating him. and Joe leaves in silence
with the music playing.
When I was watching this, man, this was so cringeworthy.
So cringe.
I was so uncomfortable watching this because I'm just like, what was he hoping to accomplish here?
Yeah. He just does it to himself and then blames other people. It's so damn frustrating.
Like, when you first saw the scene, how did you expect it to play out? Did you think like there was going to be a scuffle or something?
Yeah. Yeah. If by scuffle you mean...
they're going to throw hands?
If by scuffle you mean either Ted and he are going to throw hands or other people are going to put hands on the sheriff to restrain him.
They would be at each other and then like they get separated, sort of thing.
Yeah, sort of thing.
That may have been a better look for him, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. But for him to just be like, not even punched.
Bitch slapped.
And then as if like getting slapped once wasn't enough, like you did get slapped because here's the other one. Yes, I did slap you. It's like such a like fucking stamp of I don't know what, dude. It's like yeah, I fucking slapped you.
I know what I did. It's not only embarrassing for him, it was embarrassing for me to watch that shit.
By a grown man, dude. Getting slapped by a grown man.
The disrespect.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a weak slap though, but it's like, I mean, it's a slap nonetheless.
Oh, that's I think part of the reason why it's more insulting, because it's not like those slap competitions you see on on YouTube or Instagram or whatever.
They're not playing slap ass here.
They're not playing slap ass. Slap ass. Yeah, they're not playing slap ass.
And the thing is, like, when he gets slapped that initial time, and he kind of jolts, like he flinches.
He does. That's it. He jolts, and then, but he doesn't. Ted doesn't lose eye contact. He fucking slaps him again.
That's a challenge. He was challenging him, and he didn't do shit. This guy that likes to think of himself as being this tough guy that can protect the town and is gonna turn the city around as mayor, he didn't even know how to address that situation. I don't even think he's ever been in a situation like that before. He got punked.
That's it. He was hoping somehow the badge was going to protect him. The badge was going to give him some power when he's one of only 2 people in town.
Yeah.
With that badge. Like, what are you going to do, dude? It's kind of the Wild West right now with COVID and everything. And he's not even following the directives given by the state or the government to do. He's lone wolfing it.
This is probably one of the standout scenes in the entire movie. And it's also so important to the plot. It serves as a major turning point for his character.
Mm-hmm.
The fabrics are completely unraveling here.
Yeah. I mean, it culminated. It came to a crescendo. The fact that his lie was being renounced by his wife, and it was playing on TV on repeat. And it's playing on TV on repeat in a house where they're celebrating his opposition for mayor, which again he did to his fucking self. No one asked him to run for mayor, so he starts running for mayor anyway. No, she never said she was sexually assaulted. He said she was sexually assaulted. All this shit is blowing back on him because it's all his choice.
I also love how Ari Aster stayed on that. Like, the camera followed him all the way back to the car.
All painfully. Dude, all the people that he already walked past. The embarrassment. I felt it, dude. Gosh.
It was painful.
Yeah. It just keeps coming back to him. Dude, you're trying so hard. He's trying so hard to have control. Instead of just accepting things the way they are, rolling with punches.
Oh, man. Speaking of control, I wanted to get your thoughts on next scene. So this is right after he's driving home in silence on the wrong side of the road, by the way, because cars are kind of honking at him and driving around him. And then he drives past Ted's bar, and the homeless guy broke into it. So he got in again, and he's just drinking away, and he's talking gibberish like he always is. Joe goes in there, and he just kind of stands there and watches him for a while, for like a couple of minutes. And then he eventually shoots him. He straight up just murders this guy.
Murders him. In cold blood.
Wasn't even provoked.
No. He was not. This dude wasn't threatening his life. he did what he was always gonna do and maybe had done before, just drinking. And the homeless dude has his own set of problems. But like, yeah, Joe, again, finally, just wanting control just to the point where it's like he just wants to have the control to take somebody's life.
You know what this kind of feels like to me is when you have someone that is getting bullied at home, so then he bullies someone at school.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Take it out on this other person to somehow feel better about it.
He just goes into almost like autopilot where he just starts cleaning up and taking the slugs out of the wall and stuff like that, bagging and tagging.
Yeah, he's already, because he's a liar, because he's constantly trying to make reality conform to the way he thinks things should go. He's already thinking, how am I going to cover this up? How am I going to lie? He's going to try to justify his actions, though they're indefensible. It's putrid. It's ugly. And again, like he
stoops to a new low here.
He stoops to an absolutely new low. Didn't need to kill that guy. And then what would be justice would be for him to be prosecuted and put in prison. But he's going to try to circumvent that. Oh, dude, truthfully, Joe gets every bit of what he deserved. I'm not going to even lie. I think that fucker got everything he deserved.
I think this is why so many people that did go see it, the few, I guess you could say, that went and saw it. That's why it seems like this movie is kind of polarizing. Like you either get it or you hate it, because it's rare to have a movie where the protagonist is not a likable person.
Yeah. Well, again, not likable for sure.
Not someone that you want to root for.
Not somebody you want to root for is even better to say. Yeah, exactly. He's both. Yeah, I don't know. It's just hard because, again, going back to what I was saying earlier as well, is it's like, even in as much as their behavior of all people in the thing in the movie is like a Black Mirror thing, right? We can all see ourselves in them. It's like, even more so, there's a part of us that's like Joe, and it's hard to stomach that. You almost have to be comfortable, like learn to be comfortable with that uncomfortable feeling of seeing yourself in him in some way. You aren't him, but I'm saying that there's a part of us that wants that kind of control. There's a part of us that it can get so angry. There's a part of us that knows that we would want to lie to have that control. We're capable of it, at the least. I'm not saying that we necessarily want to, but we're capable of it, and it's no different than he.
I guess the way I see it is, I'm not like in support of him. I think of it more of like, I guess, not much different than Beau's Afraid, where I'm here for the ride. I want to see where this goes.
Yeah, I think it's like playing with tension. Ari Aster is very good at playing with tension in different types of ways, different types of tension.
And not long after he disposes of that body in that river, wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna float all the way down to Twin Peaks.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna.
We cut over to Mayor Garcia's house. It just shows Ted there, and he's just giving Eric some shit about like, hey, didn't we say we're not supposed to have any guests over? What's this purse doing here on the table?
Right. It's father and son just having a little.
Mm-hmm. Man, I just like how this is done, because it catches you off guard, right? Because it just has him sitting in his recliner, and then you see a muzzle flash off in the distance. The glass breaks, boom, and then exit wound, all in succession, right? And it just cuts away. So you're just kind of like, oh shit.
So it's quiet. You just see the glass break and then just exit wound. Did that just happen? Literally, that was my thought. I was like, did that just happen? Dude, you don't know what you're getting into until you see this movie.
Yeah.
Or until you listen to this podcast talking about this movie. You don't know what you're getting into. I think I even reached over and touched my pop's arm. We were sitting next to each other. I was like, no fucking way. No fucking way. I hate this guy. I hate this doctor.
Yeah, it's just silence, like an eerie silence. And that's what causes Eric to come out of his room.
Right.
And so that's when he just kind of wanders out. It takes him a little bit, right, to even figure out what the fuck just happened? Because his dad is hunched over. There's blood on his shirt. And, the window behind him is broken. And then you see that muzzle flash again. You're like, oh, fuck. He's done. That first shot misses, though. And then as he's fleeing, he's running full speed back to his room. Gets caught.
Mm-hmm. He's a good shot.
They were kind of alluding to the fact that he's a pretty good shot. And this is evidence right here because he looks like he's pretty far out.
Yeah. Man, what a fucking asshole, dude. So it's like he breaks breaks the ice of just murdering somebody by killing the homeless guy. And then, I mean, he does it in Ted's bar as well. So it's like he's already really what he wanted to do was hurt Ted because he wants control, because ultimately his life is falling apart. His wife left him because he's just anyway.
But like you said, it almost like whets an appetite.
Yeah, exactly. It breaks it down. So he's like, okay, cool. Well, since I can't control the fact that my wife's left me, the fact that I'm not winning this mayoral election, the fact that no one's respecting me, the fact that I'm talking at nobody whenever I'm doing these stupid driving through town, talking on this megaphone. It's like if Ted becomes the focus of his hate, of his own like inability to just accept reality,
his inadequacies.
Exactly. So the one thing he can control, because he can't seem to control everything else to make it fit his narrative of how things should go in reality, he takes his life and his son's life.
He never liked that kid anyway.
Yeah, that kid had it out for him. He was riding his bike making fun of him.
He does eventually enter the house, and he vandalizes the area. Oh, and steals that pocket watch too.
Again, bro, so twisted, so twisted. Like what the fuck, bro?
This was premeditated, right? Like he has it planned out.
Somebody who needs to be put away. Seriously, a danger to society.
He stages it as an Antifa attack.
I forgot. You're right. That's right. Whoa. The irony.
There's this private jet on its way to Eddington, and you got these armed motherfuckers that I don't even know who the fuck these guys are.
They're supposed to be Antifa.
Oh yeah, that's who he sees on the videos on social media.
Isn't that funny that he's like, oh, this is plausible, so I'm gonna pin this on them. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to them even that he's done this, they're already on their way to that town.
Damn. Things get a little complicated as well because Joe thought he had it all planned out. However, Officer Butterfly Jimenez of the Pueblo tribe, played by William Below.
So great.
He gets involved because he discovers that the shooter fired his rifle on Pueblo land. So now that's his jurisdiction.
He finds the casings.
There's that one that he stepped on and he couldn't find, and he's just like, just shrugs it off. He also finds tire tracks too. But the fact that like when Joe and his crew are on site, he keeps dismissing everything that Officer Jimenez is saying to him. He's just like, yeah, go away.
Yeah.
This is Eddington.
Yeah.
The murder happened here. Now we have Jimenez that's also investigating.
And his behavior is so suspicious that it only makes Jimenez lean in harder.
Something's off about this guy.
Something is so off.
Follows them around back to the police station. And this is where Joe frames his deputy, Michael Cook, as the killer and arrests him to divert attention away from himself. So that pocket watch that he stole from the house, he planted it in Cook's vehicle. And that's where they find that photo of Eric and Sarah. And because he was kissing his old girlfriend, maybe he assassinated him. Oh, shit. So now Deputy Cook, he's kind of dead to rights, and they arrest him, throw him in the cell. And yeah, it's not looking too good for him right now. Unfortunately, well, I guess maybe fortunately for Cook, but unfortunately for Joe, things kind of escalate later that night because there's like a dumpster fire. Apparently, while they're trying to address that, at some point, someone came and freed Cook. So he's missing. Don't know where the hell he went. They're searching all around town. Like, where the hell did he run off to? And then they start seeing some signs, like a fire arrow pointing out to the desert.
Right.
That looks kind of ominous.
Mm-hmm.
So they drive out there. I think the other officer's already there, right? So Joe catches up to him, and the other officer kind of has his gun drawn to Cook, and Cook is gagged, but they can't really see it. I think it's so dimly lit, and he just kind of has his hands up. The other officer doesn't know what to do, so Joe just makes the brilliant idea of like, you go check it out. I'll stay right here.
Right.
He even mentions too, just before this, he was like, man, it smells like gasoline out here. So yeah, he approaches. I don't know how the fuck Cook survived this. Maybe he tried to run away. I don't quite recall, but there's this huge explosion. This bomb freaking goes off and like takes everyone out.
Concussive. It was so unexpected. It was awful. I just remember that happening, and I was just like, whoa. It knocks him on his ass. It knocks Joe on his ass, and he's not even that close.
The other officer's done. Like, I think he gets dismembered completely.
Yeah.
Cook, he's all burnt up, and so you assume that he's dead.
Yeah.
Joe gets up, and I think he had noticed earlier that there was a drone hovering over them. So he starts shooting at the drone, and it returns to the operator, which is like nearby off in the distance. And so he starts shooting at the black SUV. They return fire, and it looks like he gets tagged. I think he even Joe takes out one of the guys, or like he injures him, and so he drops his phone. Once they drive away, Joe walks over there, looks at the phone, and it's like a bunch of like Antifa footage, right? Them kind of like shooting officers over in Seattle, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, this is some serious shit going on here. Shit has definitely hit the fan for sure.
And you're just like, what the fuck is going on right now?
This has kind of escalated pretty quickly.
He just killed the mayor's son, killed a homeless guy.
Joe makes it home, and that's where he sees Dawn leaving, but initially it looks like Louise. And so he starts talking to her like it's Louise, but I think he's hallucinating. He even like reveals to her, I was the one that killed him. Like, that was me. And so he actually like reveals to Dawn straight up everything that happened.
Yeah. Damn.
And then they are under attack. They followed him back to his house. The terrorists, he just books it through the desert, and they try to, follow him, but I think they end up crashing their vehicle into some cacti, and so they just start trying to chase him down. This is wild, man. This is
climbing like, down boulders and shit.
Falls through a roof, like the museum roof. You're like, what the fuck is he gonna do? So he makes his way over to the gun shop.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, cool. So he's gonna hide out in there. No. He fucking comes out with like a chain gun and just starts blasting at everything.
Fucking 50 cal rounds. Like one-handed.
Going Rambo.
The other one who's holding the chain with bim, 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 bim. Or one-handed. Was it just one-handed? Like he's just...
I think so, yeah.
He's like stumbling backwards. Dude, they're in a fucking small town, and he's over here just blasting this shit. It's nuts. I mean, they almost tagged him a couple times in his descent down from the mountain, so it's just not as though he's on, I don't know. It's just crazy. I just can't believe this is all going down in this little town.
No, he's just spraying and praying at this point.
That's it, yeah.
Accidentally shoots off Officer Jimenez's leg, by the way. You're just shaking your head in disapproval. You're like, what the fuck?
Not like this.
Man, yeah, not like this. Dude, I feel bad for Jimenez because, he just got dragged into this craziness.
He did. And none of it had to... He Joe is just making things so much more difficult for Jimenez because he's trying to, like, cover his tracks. It's all real. It's all this fucker's fault. He's making the messes.
Needless to say, it's escalated quite a bit.
Quite. Yeah, blows off Jimenez's leg.
Oops, my bad, bro.
Just, oopsie poopsie.
But then the terrorists end up just sniping him in the back of the head. So Officer Jimenez is done. And he was the closest one to figuring out everything. Because remember, earlier he saw the writing on the whiteboard when they're coming up with campaign ideas. And
he could tell he
matched it up.
Yep, to what was graffitied in Ted's house. He matched it up and was like, I remember that's why he's like racing away. He's like, oh, I see it. He's driving away. Joe's all scared when that was happening. But yeah, now there goes his the only other person who, at least at this point, suspects Joe correctly.
Yep. Joe, I guess, just continues to flee aimlessly. Like, he doesn't really have a plan. He's also like wide open. You figure you try to take cover somewhere, but he's just out in the middle of the street, just shooting at random shit.
I know.
He sees someone fling to a truck or something, so he just starts shooting at the truck. And he turns around. He's out of ammo, and so he's gonna like swing the chain gun at this random guy that's just charging towards him. But then he gets shot in the stomach, and then that guy pulls out a fucking Rambo knife and stabs him in the head. This is crazy, dude. Like, I was not expecting any of this to happen. When you started watching Eddington, did you ever think it was going to go this direction?
Dude, what the fuck, man? Just what the fuck? Yeah, no way to ever know that this is what's going to happen, let alone what preceded any of this warfare in this small little New Mexico town.
Seriously,
the war that's happening now, and then he gets stabbed in the head. Crazy, dude.
Right here, I was just like, oh, Joe's done. He's dead.
Yeah, Joe's done. Mm-hmm.
And then you got, of all people, you got Eric's best friend from earlier, Brian, running towards this masked guy. Somehow he has a gun, but he's like recording on his phone at the same time. He's like Snapchatting.
yeah.
I'm gonna save you, and he ends up killing the guy that stabbed Joe. So
yeah,
he came to his rescue. This was the guy that, by the way, that almost got killed by Joe because he was shooting at him through the truck. That's who was running towards the truck, was Brian. And so he almost killed him inadvertently because he just assumed that was one of the terrorists.
Crazy.
So he's like filming the whole thing, and he even documents Joe, right, with his head, with the freaking knife sticking out of his head.
Sheesh, that's right. And he's like cockeyed now, or his eyes are all crossed when you look at him. He's got double vision.
He looks dead. That's the crazy reveal that's going to happen in a second. So 1 year later, Brian has become a prominent conservative influencer. You know, he was more of an activist before, but now he went the other direction, and you know, he's like against guns and against the violence and all that stuff. I guess he's having a lot of success too. Like, he has a lot of followers now, and he lives in a different state, has a girlfriend, and they have a new place. So it seems like he's doing pretty well for himself.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, well, I mean, I guess he was finally elected mayor of Eddington since he has no competition. But yeah, he's somehow still alive, but he's paralyzed and brain damaged.
Paralyzed, like quadriplegic, like he's not able to move at all. Just sat upright in a wheelchair.
He has a pulse.
His eyes are extremely crossed.
Is he even processing anything? That's what I wonder.
Hard to tell. Hard to know. Hard to really know.
This is an interesting situation too, because Joe was, despite his injury, he was still elected mayor. However, his mother-in-law, Dawn, serves as his caregiver and speaks on Joe's behalf. So is it like assumed by the townsfolk that Joe discusses everything with Dawn and then she just kind of regurgitates? You don't ever see Joe say anything. So I don't really get how this works. But yeah, obviously what's happening here is Dawn is just, you know, she's issuing her own agenda.
Right. She has a power she would not otherwise have had.
Yeah, this is an unexpected turn for that character, because Dawn earlier, you kind of forgot that she was even there.
It's true.
Like, she started out as this kind of crazy conspiracy theorist, and then now she's the one that's actually controlling Eddington.
Yeah, exactly. Pulling the actual puppet strings.
Wild.
This movie's full of surprises. And so there they are at that what is it called?
The grand opening of the newly constructed data center, the Solid Gold Magikarp. They're doing like a ribbon cutting or something, right?
Yeah, like the dedication.
Oh, we also see that Officer Cook, he survived. He's heavily scarred though. He has like burn scars on his body, but he's still alive. He was filming him, right? Like, he was zooming in on his phone, just kind of documenting him.
Right, but it's obviously implied that he knows that Joe set him up.
Damn.
He knows that Joe's the reason why he's scarred for life, you know, and had suffered so much, but like that Joe was going to have him go to prison.
He's going to pin all that
on him.
But this is almost like a worse punishment. That's why I don't think he doesn't feel the need to do anything.
Yeah.
He's just like, wow, this piece of shit got what was coming to him. He did it to himself, like you said. Oh, man. So Dawn and Joe, they return home. I think they moved into a different house, like a nicer house.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, it looks like it was like built
on top of the hill.
Beautiful facility. God, everything's been made such that, it makes it easier for somebody who is in his situation as a quadriplegic to be reasonably comfortable.
He has his accommodations. The ramps, they have the little arm that like carries him in and out of bed.
Yeah, like a little crane.
He does need to be carried. The caretaker has to take him to the bathroom. He even has like that tick or whatever where he like slaps him.
Oh, right.
So he like tries to slap the caregiver, and the caregiver just slaps him in the back of the head.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then he was like, "I'm sorry." He caresses him. It just shows how far he's come in terms of the beginning of the movie, right? This is very different now.
Oh, yeah.
And on top of that, I'm not sure if he's able to process it, but I think he's still able to process a lot of stuff, which makes this part even worse. Oh, because
so good.
Dawn, she finds some footage of Vernon Jefferson Peak. He has his his own campaign going on. It zooms out, and guess who is by his side? It is Louise, who's now pregnant.
Full on preggers. Looks like she could give birth any day. She's got makeup, her hair's done nice.
She looks like she's happy too.
She looks like she is. She's smiling. The baby that Joe seemed to want so bad with her, she just was willing to have with Vernon.
She didn't want it with him. Yeah, she didn't want it with Joe.
She didn't want it with him. Boom. Ow. Ouchie. Yikes. And then if that weren't bad enough, then now that he's been put to bed, then Dawn gets in bed with him, and you think, oh, maybe this is some sort of like she feels sorry for him. Maybe she's kind of in love with him. Who knows? And then
let's keep in mind, this is someone that Joe was fucking annoyed with. He did not like Dawn at all.
Exactly. He was annoyed with her, but she seems to be doing so much for him. So it seems like, oh, maybe this is a love story between the two of them at the end. No, because then the male nurse climbs into bed right next to her. Oh my gosh, dude.
They keep adding on to the shit cake.
Oh my gosh. Delightful. That's why Joe deserves everything he got. That fucking guy.
Wild, dude. And then the movie ends, the final shot of the bright ass data center surrounded by darkness.
Mm.
Damn.
That's a cool. Yeah, he's showing he's he's showing that last shot right now with the glow of the lights on the outside.
Solid gold magic harp.
Pitch black everywhere else. Yeah, solid gold magic harp. Hindsight is 2020.
That is a wrap on Eddington. If you made it to the end of our podcast, then you just got bitch slapped in front of your peers. Twice.
Slap. Twice.
Any final thoughts or closing comments?
Loved the ride. We were laughing inappropriately. I mean, appropriately, but seemingly inappropriately at times in the movie because it's a black comedy. I think people were stunned. So that was something that was just kind of interesting to note, that there were times where we were openly laughing, even during gory parts, openly laughing because this movie is fucked up.
Brenda and I watched it together the first time, and I don't think she knew how to feel about it. I think she was definitely conflicted for sure, because I think she felt that she should have been rooting for Joaquin Phoenix's character, but Joe is that is the part that gets you, is that he seems like a sympathetic character that, maybe he's like the underdog in the story, but nope, he brought all that onto himself.
And therefore onto everybody else in that town. Look, I wonder if Antifa even shows up in that town. That's how fucked up this story goes. I wonder if Antifa even shows up in that town if Joe doesn't make these stupid claims that the city mayor had sexually assaulted his wife, him, the sheriff. Like it starts to make, I don't know if it makes national news, but it starts to make waves. So all this drama happening in this town, Yeah, I mean, he is the engineer of destruction.
Exactly. All that happened to him, and I think he even had COVID too, right? Because he starts coughing.
But that's what pisses me off too, because he knows he's fucking sick and he's not wearing a mask too. On top of all that shit, fucking asshole, just so careless, so selfish.
Oh man, what a story!
What a story, Mark.
Yeah, and you know what? I was expecting to maybe not like the movie as much the second time around because I already knew everything that was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I won't be seeing it through like rose-colored glasses this time, and I'll see it for what it actually is. I liked it even more the second time around. I think I picked up more finer details this time around. I was listening to the conversations, right, more attentively, and I was paying attention to like the videos that they're watching, because all that stuff, I think it was throwing a lot at you initially, and so you can't really pay attention to everything.
It's a lot. No. You're trying to parse it all out. Yeah. Dang. That all along, this was you watching him become more and more the villain. Like he already was, but then you just slowly watch him become.
It's his villain arc.
It's his villain arc, yeah. Ultimately, the slap was what did it.
That sent him over the edge. Yeah, he crashed out hard in this movie.
and I just, when I thought Beau was afraid, was like him crashing out.
At this point, I feel like Joaquin he has a lot of fun making these movies for Ari.
I think so too.
Man, here's what keeps pulling me back to Ari Aster. So to me, he has a unique style that stands out from most directors, right?
Yes.
Certainly most directors today. And that's what I really appreciate about him. He continues to carry and kind of embody that older eccentric A24 atmosphere. I think he's kind of just carrying that on his back at this point.
Yeah. I would say what's cool about him is it's not for attention. It's not for just entertainment's sake. Like, oh, I'm going to do this. This is weird. It's wacky. It's like, they're so compelling because they emanate from this man who just has these ideas, making these connections. I feel like this guy is telling a story because he finds it interesting. Because if nothing else, if no one else finds it interesting, he finds it interesting. And because of it, it's very, like, I'm gonna say it again for the fucking 50th time. It's Radiohead, man. He's doing these things because he's inspired by, his art is inspiring to him. Yeah. It intrigues him. It tickles his brain. The funny parts, the not so funny part, the gory parts, the questions that he's that he's thinking about, and he's almost like holding up and being like, "What do you guys think of this?" You know, and we're all just kind of looking at it like, "That's pretty fucked up."
The stuff he makes, it's unapologetically him, and yes. I think a lot of his stuff is still avant-garde too. You know, it's out there. It's kind of difficult to understand. Aster, he's a true auteur with his films, like how you were saying. He does it for himself. Mm-hmm. He makes these movies the way he wants to make it, and it's always going to be that way. And that's what I really respect about him. That's what I deeply respect about him. He's going to continue to go and make these weird ass movies, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, and it seems, I think, the only common thread that at least 3 of those movies have, Beau is Afraid notwithstanding, because it is this strange story anyway. None of them are what they seem to be about.
Yeah, like I said, I hope he continues making movies. I know that they're not making the most money, but and I hope that he doesn't have to resort to doing something more mainstream, so that way it turns into a blockbuster or whatever.
I hope he's got the integrity to stick to his guns. He's made some really weird shit, and I hope that there's enough of a cult following. If not, but they should be viewed in theaters. You know,
that'd be ideal. Are you watching anything lately, film or TV?
The Olympics. I was watching the Winter Olympics. Shout out Team USA. Well, hockey. They won. Haven't won since 1980. So shout out to them.
Yeah. I think I didn't see the finals, but I saw the one just before that. I forgot who they were playing. Wasn't it like U.S. versus Switzerland or something like that?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it was Switzerland.
That's the one I saw, and they whooped us in that one.
It's crazy how much they wanted it.
Women's figure skating, that was sick.
Figure skating,
that was mind blowing.
Incredible, dude. I got choked up. Dude, I got choked up watching that shit, and my mom, she got choked up too later.
She killed it. She made it look effortless.
Oh, she looked like she was having so much fun. My mom was like, "I wished I could have done that," and that's when she got choked up. I was just so taken by her beauty, her elegance, her confidence, and her fun that she was having. She executed everything so well, and it didn't look like she was trying. What about you? What are you watching, reading, doing?
Well, I mean, we were talking about it a little bit earlier. Saw the Eric Dane documentary on Netflix. You know, his recent passing, suffering from ALS, the amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Man, I just felt like less than a year, you know, after he was diagnosed, it took him. And it was so crazy just seeing that documentary and seeing how quickly everything started degrading. Was losing mobility in both of his arms, and then he was wheelchair bound, slurring his words. So man, it doesn't take very long at all for everything to just kind of take over. It's very sad to watch.
Yeah, that's horrible, and I it happened so fast. It seems I wasn't even aware that he was gone. Honestly, I thought that what I did see, because I wasn't, it was on the TV in the distance, so I didn't really hear what was being said, other than his voice sounded very frail. I didn't realize that he had ALS, and I guess I assumed that he was gonna just, I mean, Euphoria, right? I thought he was gonna be in more seasons. Terrible.
Hope someday they're able to finally figure out how to counteract that, or even how to prevent it.
Right. Just such severe degradation over such a short period of time. What else are you watching?
This one was interesting. I saw some older movies on Prime Video. They are often talked about, so I wanted to finally check them out. So I saw My Girl for the first time on Prime Video with Macaulay Culkin.
You hadn't seen that before?
I've heard it referenced, and yeah, like even the whole he needs his glasses.
Oh, damn!
You know, that little girl is such a great actor. I don't think she ever really like went on to do much else after that, huh?
She did some other stuff. She was definitely in another show that I would love for us to cover, Hannibal, the one that was on NBC. She's a character in that series, an important one.
Yeah, she was very quirky in the movie, and it's so weird seeing Macaulay as just kind of a side supporting character that doesn't really have very many lines. He's just there to be her best friend, basically. Yeah, I also saw You've Got Mail on the same service.
Oh my gosh.
So the main factor for me wanting to see this movie is not even for the story, but I wanted to experience America Online again.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Which is where it gets the line from, right?
I'm not even going to play like we didn't watch that movie in theaters.
Oh, yeah?
You've Got Mail. Who doesn't want to see Tom Hanks?
Meg Ryan.
I
don't want to go too long, but the last film I saw was actually in theaters. It was Iron Lung, based off of the Steam PC game.
Oh.
No, yeah, it's a psychological horror movie and horror game, I guess. It doesn't really tell you much, and that's what kind of where the psychological aspect comes in, is you're just kind of in this submarine just exploring, and it doesn't tell you where to go, what to do, and you just got limited communication with someone you don't even really know. It doesn't explain much to you, and that's kind of how the movie is as well. I don't know if maybe the game explains more, but I can't really recommend Iron Lung to people because I was thoroughly confused, but I wanted to go see it because I wanted to support an independent filmmaker, and it was by the YouTuber Markiplier. So he wrote, funded, directed, and starred in the movie.
What the hell?
Yeah, he made the movie for I think about $3 million, and it made about 30 in the theaters. So
what the fuck? Good for him.
He did pretty well.
Is this I wonder, was this a game that he likes to play?
Yeah, I think his YouTube channel, he got really popular doing reaction videos to scary games.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was pretty damn impressed with his acting ability. Very surprised and impressed with his acting for sure.
Wow, Markiplier. Good for him.
You can find us wherever you normally get your podcasts. New episodes drop on the first Saturday of each month, 5 a.m. Pacific. If you like what you heard, leave us a like, comment, or subscribe. Thank you all for listening and joining Michael and myself. This has been Aflixionados Podcast, episode 66, Eddington, and we'll see you all at the next election.
Hey, yo. Spend so much of our lives worrying about what other people think. We could worry about taking risks, and it's like no time like the present, man. There's no guarantee. Could wait for the perfect time.
That's what I think is beautiful about the podcast, honestly. Like it's fun to talk about movies and stuff too, because those are interesting, but that's why I like to leave a little bit of myself in every episode, because I like to think that that's capturing something, and you can either me or someone else can look back and was like, what was Eric like, and you can see it in the episodes.
Yeah, you're right. That's so true. Sometimes I overthink things myself, and I'll think, oh, I shouldn't say this, or to your point, we are leaving something behind of ourselves, and that's not nothing, right? That's definitely, people can listen to this afterwards, long after we're gone, and if they like it, whatever. And even then, if not, if it's just our family who wants to hear it, hell, I mean, I will see if I have kids someday. I'm not sure if it's in the cards, but I'm definitely open to it. It's just, at the very least, my nieces and nephews that I already have now will be able to listen to these episodes or something if they care to. If they're like, what was he like?
If it's working its way backwards, then it'll be Ryan first, and then Paul, and then you.
Working its way backwards?
Yeah, like in terms of your siblings that are having children.
Oh, funny, hilarious. Yeah, exactly right. Sean, and then Ryan, Paul, and me. That'd be ironic because Paul's like, I'm not having kids.
Really? Oh, he doesn't want any?
Surprise! Not early. That'd be funny. We'll see. I mean, who knows? But just thinking, like, for instance, so my cousin's husband passed away some years ago. I was actually at their wedding, and it would have been their 5th anniversary the year he passed, and he was young. He's my age ish. I think he was, yeah. Oh, no. He was he was even a couple of years older than me. So, yeah, he passed away. Just I don't know if it was an aneurysm or if it was a heart attack, but just died in their apartment.
Completely unexpected.
Unexpected, bro. Unexpected. Just there they were, normal night as any. And then, so he passed away. We show up there as a show of support, like a day or two later. And my cousin, she had episodes of a podcast that was recorded. The video even was recorded. So you could see him. He was wearing like a beanie and everything. And it was like a gaming podcast. They talked about, I think it was like board games and things like that. Or like, I wouldn't say D&D. I don't want to misquote anything. It was, I think it was kind of like D&D. But it was video games. He covered the gamut of more, could be Mortal
Stuff
Kombat.
That he was passionate about.
Exactly. Yeah. And you could see him and you could hear his voice, and it was crazy because we hadn't talked a whole lot. I liked the guy when I met him at his wedding. I hadn't met him before, but I met him at their wedding, and I'd seen him at other family functions. Always a very, very warm person, always genuine, never an asshole, never sulking, always just a beacon of light, so to speak, always just a nice guy, always. And so to see him on screen, kind of like how we are now, and they're talking back and forth and stuff. And he was just a happy guy. The fact that my cousin gets to, I was gonna say sister, she's kind of like a sister. My cousin gets to see her husband on whenever she wants. She can always check out those videos. It's special.
That's nice.
Yeah.